Some giants achieve greatness, while others face daily struggles in a world not built for them. From basketball legends to record-breaking individuals, their towering height has shaped their lives in unexpected ways. Who thrived, who struggled, and who stands as the tallest living person today? Stay with us as we reveal 20 real-life human giants that still exist today. The tallest living woman, Rumeysa Gelgi. Have you ever thought about what life might be like if you were taller than 7 feet? Finding clothes, riding in a car, and even passing through doors, daily activities that most people take for granted, become difficult. This is Rumeysa Gelgi's reality. Rumeysa, who was born in Turkey in 1997, is the tallest woman alive, holding the Guinness World Record at 7 feet and 0.7 inches. Weaver syndrome, a rare genetic condition that causes fast development and anomalies in the bones, is the cause of her unusual height. Rumeysa has accepted her height in spite of her mobility challenges. Although she can walk short distances with a walker, she mostly utilizes a wheelchair. Her height, however, makes travel quite challenging. In order for her to lie down for her first voyage in 22, Turkish Airlines had to transform 6 passenger seats into a special stretcher. Instead of allowing her illness to define her, Rumeysa has turned into a disability advocate. She continues to inspire people around the world by demonstrating that being unique is a strength rather than a weakness, and utilizes her platform to raise awareness of uncommon medical concerns. The Queen of Women's Basketball, Uliana Semionova. Although most basketball players are tall, very few have ever been as tall as Uliana Semionova. She was one of the most formidable female basketball players in history, standing 7 feet tall. Uliana, who was born in the Soviet Union, rose to fame as a basketball star in the 1970s and 1980s. She was among the top players in her nation by the time she was 16 years old. She became a household name throughout Eastern Europe thanks to her remarkable athletic abilities and towering height, which helped her teams win numerous titles. Uliana's shoe size was among her most striking features. The biggest shoe size ever seen in women's basketball was men's size 21, which she wore. She frequently had to purchase specially designed shoes in order to play the game because it was practically hard to find shoes that fit. On the court, Uliana was unstoppable despite the difficulties posed by her size. Her agility, ability, and sheer dominance won her admiration, demonstrating that height wasn't solely a natural trait, but also depended on one's use of it. Brahim Takioullah, the biggest-footed man. Imagine having feet so big that there aren't any shoe stores that carry your size anywhere in the world. For Brahim Takioullah, a Moroccan guy who is an incredible 8 feet and 1 inch tall, this is his world. His record-breaking foot size is what really sets him apart, even though his height alone is impressive. With each foot measuring an incredible 1 foot 3 inches in length, Brahim holds the Guinness World Record for the largest feet in history. Acromegaly, a disorder brought on by an overactive pituitary gland that produces an overabundance of growth hormones, is the cause of his remarkable size. He grew at an unmanageable rate as a child and was among the world's tallest men by the time he reached maturity. However, his height has made daily living quite challenging. Finding shoes is one of Brahim's toughest challenges. No typical shoe manufacturer can fit his size because his feet are bigger than most people's forearms. He needs shoes that are created to order, which is expensive and time-consuming. Because of the strain his weight places on his feet, being barefoot is not an option, and walking in poorly fitting shoes can be excruciating. However, his difficulties don't end there. For someone of his size, the majority of cars, public transportation, and entrances are just not designed. It is almost impossible for him to sit comfortably on a regular chair, and he frequently has to stoop just to enter a room. Despite these obstacles, Brahim has made the decision to value his individuality and use his narrative to spread knowledge about acromegaly and the challenges experienced by people who are exceptionally tall. Because of his imposing size, he has come to represent tenacity and the ability of even giants to overcome obstacles. The tallest man still alive is Sultan Kosen. Imagine being so tall that you don't need a ladder to change a light bulb. Sultan Kosen, the world's tallest living man at an incredible 8 feet and 2.8 inches, lives with it every day. Sultan was born in Turkey in 1982. Pituitary gigantism, a disorder where an overactive pituitary gland causes uncontrollable development, is the source of Sultan's unusual height. His body continued to expand quickly, and by the time he was a teenager, he was already taller than most adults. But there were significant obstacles because of his height. Sultan had trouble getting around, finding clothing, and adjusting to normal-sized settings. It became almost impossible to do basic things like ride in a car or walk through doors. In order to stop his growth, doctors carried out a revolutionary surgery in 2021. Sultan has since toured the globe, making appearances on TV shows and meeting admirers who are in awe of his imposing figure. Despite the challenges, Sultan is thankful for his special existence, stating that although being the tallest man in the world has presented him with challenges, it has also given him incredible chances. The tallest basketball player in the United Kingdom is Paul Sturgess. It takes height to be a professional basketball player, but Paul Sturgess goes above and beyond. He is currently the tallest basketball player in British history, standing at 7 feet 7 inches. Paul's height is entirely natural. Unlike many other giants, he does not suffer from a medical ailment that would cause him to grow too much. Many of his family are likewise abnormally tall, including his father, who is 6 feet 10 inches tall. It was not surprising that he became a dominant force on the court given his genetic makeup. Paul's size made him a fan favorite while playing collegiate basketball in the U.S. Despite not being the fastest player on the field, he was a formidable defensive player because of his height, which allowed him to easily block shots. Even after he stopped playing basketball professionally, Paul continued to make the most of his height. He has starred in documentaries, television series, and even the Harlem Globetrotters, demonstrating that being exceptionally tall can occasionally lead to unanticipated chances. Tacko Fall, the NBA record-breaking 7'6" giant. Few players in the history of basketball have ever been as formidable as Tacko Fall. He is among the tallest NBA players in history, standing at 7 feet 6 inches. Tacko, who was born in Senegal, came to the U.S. as a youngster to play basketball. At the University of Central Florida, he immediately rose to prominence as one of the most talked-about collegiate players due to his natural ability to block shots due to his height. Tacko broke the record for tallest shoe height, 7 feet 7 inches, at the NBA Draft Combine. 8 feet 2 inches is the longest wingspan. 10 feet 2.5 inches is the highest standing reach. He was undrafted in spite of his remarkable stature, but he eventually joined with the Boston Celtics, where he quickly won over fans. Tacko, who is currently a member of the Chinese Basketball Association, is establishing himself as a player who demonstrates that height is about how you use it. Yao Ming, the world's most famous basketball player. Yao Ming was a worldwide sensation in addition to being a great basketball player. He was one of the tallest and most talented players in NBA history, standing at 7 feet 6 inches. Yao, who was born in China, was bound for basketball glory. He was already ruling Chinese basketball leagues by the time he was a teenager, and both of his parents played professional basketball. Yao joined the Houston Rockets as the first overall pick in the NBA draft in the second year. He averaged 9 rebounds and 19 points per game over the next 10 years, earning him 8 NBA All-Star selections. However, Yao's impact extended outside of the court. Basketball became extremely popular in China as a result of his significant contribution to its globalization. He became a legend after being inducted into the Basketball Hall of Fame in 2006, after retiring due to injury. Yao continues to serve as an ambassador for basketball today, demonstrating that he is more than simply a giant, and that he represents the sport's appeal on a global scale. Gheorghe Muresan, the giant of Hollywood. Despite not being well known, Gheorghe Muresan will always be remembered for his record-breaking height. He is officially the tallest player in NBA history at 7 feet 7 inches. Gheorghe was born in Romania, and a pituitary gland condition was the cause of his height rather than heredity. He competed at the top levels of basketball because of his remarkable skill set, which he achieved despite his odd height. In the 1990s, he enjoyed a breakthrough season with the Washington Bullets, averaging more than 15 points per game. He was an efficient scorer thanks to his deft touch and unexpected mobility. In one season, he even topped the league in field goals. However, Gheorghe's notoriety extended beyond the basketball court. His tall stature helped him land roles in Hollywood movies. most famously co-starring with Billy Crystal in the 1989 film My Giant. In the music video for My Name Is, he even made a brief appearance as a ventriloquist, with Eminem serving as his dummy. Gheorghe's charismatic demeanor continues to captivate audiences worldwide, even outside of the realm of basketball. Paul Wight's Big Show, the wrestling titan. Big Show is one of the most recognizable names in professional wrestling. He is one of the biggest WWE superstars in history, standing at 7 feet 1 inch. His career lasted more than 20 years, earning him a global favorite and a powerful force in the ring due to his enormous girth. Big Show, whose real name is Paul Wight, was born with acromegaly, a disorder in which an overactive pituitary gland results in abnormal growth. He weighed more than 220 pounds and was 6 feet 2 inches tall by the time he was 12. His illness caused his body to expand more quickly than usual, which may have resulted in serious health issues if it hadn't been treated. Thankfully, his excessive growth was stopped by a successful surgery in his 20s. Big Show dominated the WWE during his wrestling career, taking home numerous world titles and drawing comparisons to another renowned wrestler, Andre the Giant. He was renowned for connecting with fans and having a captivating personality despite his scary bulk. He demonstrated that his influence is as great outside of the ring as it was within, by continuing to star in films and television series even after leaving the WWE. Shaquille O'Neal, the NBA's most powerful center. One of the greatest basketball players in history is Shaquille O'Neal, popularly known as Shaq. He was almost impossible to stop on the court since he was 7 feet 1 inch and weighed more than 325 pounds in his prime. He was one of the most feared centers in NBA history because of his stature, power, and agility. As the Orlando Magic's first overall choice in 1992, Shaq made his NBA debut. He rose to fame fast, guiding his club to the NBA Finals by a score of 195 and smashing backboards with his powerful dunks. However, he achieved his greatest success with the Los Angeles Lakers, where he and Kobe Bryant won 3 straight NBA titles from 2000 to 2002. Later, in 2006, he added a 4th championship with the Miami Heat. However, Shaq's influence goes well beyond basketball. Following his retirement, he worked as a DJ, businessman, actor, and sports analyst. Shaq is still one of the most well-known names in sports and entertainment, whether he is hosting a music festival or commentating games on TV. His personality has made him a worldwide icon, and his influence on basketball is indisputable. The tallest professional basketball player is Sun Mingming. Sun Mingming is the tallest professional basketball player in history, standing at 7 feet 9 inches. He was born in China and stood out from a young age due to his extraordinary height, but becoming a basketball star wasn't an easy path. Sun almost never had the opportunity to play professionally despite his size. When he was 25, medical professionals found that he had a benign tumor on his pituitary gland, which is also the gland that causes his extreme growth. The tumor might have been fatal if treatment hadn't been received. Regretfully, Sun lacked the funds and health insurance to pay for the costly medical operation. Fortunately, a team of American medical professionals intervened and carried out a life-saving operation, enabling him to carry on with his profession. Sun played for a number of teams in China, Mexico, and the United States once he recovered. Although his bulk helped him, his lack of speed and movement kept him from making it to the NBA. He did, however, succeed in Chinese basketball leagues and rose to fame there. The tale of Sun demonstrates tenacity by demonstrating that even giants must conquer their own obstacles. Myung-hun, the basketball superstar of North Korea. Many basketball fans might not be familiar with Myung-hun, although he was previously regarded as one of the world's tallest players at 7 feet 8 inches. Many people thought Ri, who was born in North Korea, might have been a huge success in the NBA when he was scouted by clubs in the 1990s. Politics, however, dashed his hopes of playing in the NBA. It was practically impossible for Ri to play for an American team in the 1990s because of the severe trade sanctions imposed by the US on North Korea. North Korean leader Kim Jong-il prevented Ri from leaving the nation when the US government declared that any money Ri earned in the NBA could not be sent back to North Korea. Ri eventually gave up basketball due to frustration, never having the opportunity to play professionally outside of North Korea. In subsequent interviews, he said that political difficulties kept him from realizing his dream of competing against NBA players to test his abilities. Many basketball fans continue to wonder how great he may have been if he had been given the chance, and his story continues to stand as one of the most terrible examples of how politics can affect sports. Ghanaian giant Sulemana Abdul Samed. Sulemana Abdul Samed is now the talk of the town in a small Ghanaian town. He may be the tallest man alive, as he was measured at 9 feet 6 inches during a recent medical examination. He is still awaiting Guinness World Records recognition, though, as his height has not yet been formally verified. Sulemana's tremendous rise hasn't translated into a life of celebrity or sporting chances, in contrast to many of the people on this list. Rather, it has led to serious health problems for him, such as respiratory problems, mobility problems, and chronic discomfort. Long-distance walking is practically impossible, and even basic activities like comfortably sleeping or sitting in a car provide significant difficulties. Ghanaian doctors are keeping a careful eye on him since they think his growth may not have halted yet. His height continues to pose major health risks in the absence of access to expert medical care. His narrative emphasizes the challenges associated with extraordinary height, particularly in places with inadequate healthcare services, even if many people love his towering appearance. Bobroczky, Robert, the tallest teen in history. Robert Bobroczky was already taller than his own father at the age of 12. He was one of the tallest teenagers in history, standing at an amazing 7 feet 7 inches by the time he reached 14. Robert was born in Romania into a family of tall sportsmen since his father had played basketball professionally, and height was in his blood. Robert's development was entirely natural, but it also presented significant difficulties in contrast to many giants who have health issues. Despite having a height advantage in basketball, he was significantly underweight with a body mass index of just 16.1. Physicians cautioned that playing professionally might be too dangerous for his health unless he put on muscle. In order to improve his abilities, Robert relocated to the United States in 2016, despite these obstacles. But he struggled to keep up with the physical demands of the sport because of his peculiar build. His life demonstrates that being very tall is not always a benefit, but rather can occasionally be a significant barrier, even though he continues to serve as an inspiration for tall sportsmen. The world's tallest teenager is Olivier Rioux. Imagine being 7 years old and 6 feet tall. This was only the start of Olivier Rioux' remarkable development. He is currently the tallest surviving adolescent in the world, standing at 7 feet 6 inches at the age of 18, according to Guinness World Records. Olivier's older brother is also extraordinarily tall, and both of his parents are taller than typical. Olivier was the tallest student in his school growing up in Canada, and by middle school, he was already taller than the majority of professional basketball players. In order to handle his stature, his family even had to modify their home. Ceilings, tables, and door frames had to be altered to prevent him from bumping his head all the time. Olivier is currently preparing to play basketball professionally, and many believe he may one day make it to the NBA. Basketball fans worldwide are excited to see if he can emulate other historical giants like Yao Ming and Tacko Fall, as his height has already made him a viral sensation. Martyn Ford, bodybuilding's nightmare. There are extremely few people who are both tall and muscular. Being tall is one thing. Martyn Ford is one of the tallest and most physically threatening bodybuilders in the world, standing at 6 feet 8 inches. He has been dubbed the Nightmare because of his enormous physique and commanding presence. The moniker fits his exaggerated demeanor. Martyn was a promising cricket player before he became a bodybuilder. But he chose to change occupations and concentrate on weight training after getting hurt in his late teens. He became a titan of the fitness industry throughout the years, known for his massive muscle bulk and distinctive appearance. Due to his size and strength, he has been able to take on playing roles in action and Hollywood films. With millions of followers who respect his commitment to health, he has also emerged as a social media influencer. Martyn has surprised expectations by demonstrating that being tall may actually be a huge asset rather than a sign of weakness or slowness, something that most giants struggle with. India's first NBA draft selection is Satnam Singh. In 2015, Satnam Singh, who stands 7 feet 2 inches tall, became the first Indian player ever drafted into the NBA. For both him and basketball in India, where cricket has long been the most popular sport, his pick by the Dallas Mavericks was historic. Satnam was born in a small Punjabi village, and his height made him stand out right away. Height runs in the family. His father was also above 7 feet tall. He was transferred to Florida's IMG Academy to learn to become a professional basketball player when it was determined that he had promise. He found it challenging to compete at the highest level, though, because he had trouble with the game's technical qualities despite his stature. Satnam eventually made the switch to professional wrestling by joining All Elite Wrestling (AEW) after spending a number of years in the NBA's developing leagues. His massive physique was ideal for entertainment wrestling, and he has since established himself as a well-known personality in the field. Even though he never made it to the NBA, his story serves as motivation for aspiring Indian athletes, demonstrating that even giants may achieve success through unanticipated means if they are determined enough. The tallest goalie in football is Kristof Van Hout. Speed, agility, and footwork are all important in football, but for Kristof Van Hout, his height has always been his biggest asset. He is the tallest professional football goalie in the world, standing at 6 feet 10 inches. He is a scary figure between the goalposts because of his towering presence, which makes strikers reconsider their shots. Kristof was born in Belgium, and his height presented both opportunities and difficulties. His mobility and fast reactions were frequently questioned, even though his long arms and legs gave him an amazing wingspan that allowed him to reach shots that most goalkeepers couldn't. His tall stature, according to critics, hindered his ability to react fast, particularly when facing low shots. Despite the skepticism, Kristof has played for teams in Belgium's top levels for a long and prosperous career. His height is still one of the most talked about features of his game, demonstrating that height can occasionally be just as useful in football as speed. Brock Brown, Soto syndrome's tallest man. Growing tall is considered a gift by most, but Brock Brown has always struggled with it. He was born with Soto's syndrome, a rare genetic disease that causes abnormal growth from childhood, and he stands 7 feet 9 inches tall. Brock has managed to surpass expectations despite his doctor's warnings that he might not live past puberty. Due to his illness, Brock, who was born in Michigan, USA, was already 5 feet 2 inches tall in kindergarten. His muscles, joints, and spine were severely strained by his quick growth, which resulted in persistent pain. Comfortable walking, sitting, and sleeping have been lifelong challenges. It has also been costly for his family to find furniture, shoes, and clothing that fit him. Brock maintains his optimism and resolve to enjoy life in spite of these challenges. He has drawn media attention for his unusual condition and inspirational fortitude, demonstrating that despite the significant challenges he has due to his height, it does not define him. His tale serves as a reminder to the world that being extremely tall can be both a burden and a blessing, shedding light on the less glamorous aspects of being a giant. Igor Vovkovinskiy, the tallest person in America. Igor Vovkovinskiy was formally acknowledged as the tallest man in the United States at 7 feet 8 inches. Igor was born in Ukraine, and his unusual height was brought on by pituitary gigantism, a disorder in which the pituitary gland overproduces, leading to excessive development. He was 6 feet tall by the time he was 7 years old, making him taller than most adults. When he was a child, his family relocated to the US in search of better health care. But even after several operations to manage his development, Igor kept growing taller, which made daily living exceedingly difficult. It was a never-ending battle to find shoes, clothes, and even furniture that fit his body. He frequently needed special shoes, which were so costly that in 2011, a crowdsourcing campaign was started to assist him in purchasing a new pair. Despite his struggles, Igor rose to celebrity after he was seen at a political gathering sporting a personalized t-shirt that said, "Biggest Obama supporter," garnering widespread media coverage. Later on, he rose to fame in the entertainment industry by making appearances in TV series, movies, and even live as a mascot at athletic events. Igor is still remembered as one of the most iconic giants in American history, even though he tragically died in his 20s from heart problems brought on by his illness. His legacy still serves as a reminder of the difficulties and specialness of being exceptionally tall. That brings the video for today to a close. Check out the other videos on the channel if you've followed us that far.